We'll get there.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Now we're live. It's so good to see you, by the way.
So good to see you too. It's kind of weird because every single time, like it's only, been a short period of time, which really like a month or something. But it seems like every single time I'm following you, I'm like, holy smoke, she's just ramping up
A
over
lot
there.
happens in a
What
month.
your soul with your whole like airport trip and stuff. I'm like, oh, we're just gonna send some healing energy over to her
Thank
right
you.
now.
Yeah, that was a lot. It took a lot out of me. I can see why my soul guides were like, you need to rest, Laura. And it was really funny too, because like 3 days before I left for Colorado, they're like, Laura, you need to rest. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, what is rest? I'm like, does that mean I have to sleep? Does that mean I have to sit down? Can I still like play video games? Can I can I watch TV? Like what is rest? Like I had to actually ask them like for a definition as to what they meant by rest because I don't even do that. I don't even it's not in my vocabulary.
That's something that they're trying to get you to do, though, right?
I
Because you have
know.
to imagine that you're just go, go, go. So, all the energy being put out, they're like, okay, so where's our rejuvenation point of filling our cup back up? And,
Yeah.
you can only go so long. I mean, obviously, our minds, I feel, are totally different than our bodies. Our minds are like, yeah. Our body's like, you sure? We're just going to
The
low.
body's like, you need to rest. The mind is like, never, I can never rest. But it's something we do have to change because we can't be all go, go, go all the time. We're burning on all cylinders. So it is a very important thing to
Something
learn
that I
when you
started
have
in
to
January.
take it easy.
I started looking at myself, putting myself first, going and getting the massages. Oh, they're so nice.
That's a
Even
nice
though I'm crying because she's an intuitive, so it's always going deeper and deeper in. I'm like, don't you make me cry today, man. Okay, we're just focusing on my back and my neck. Thank you very much. Maybe we can do some temples. And then she'll start going. I'm like, I know what you're doing. You're doing. I can feel the energy. And she's like, it's okay, T. I'm like, no, sorry, I don't want to cry today, right? But
one.
it
Down.
is what's needed thing, but that was something that I've definitely brought up since January is, when I'm tired, stop. When I'm whatever, tomorrow's coming. Like it's okay, right? Which that is very abnormal for me. But I find that now that I'm doing it, it's actually boosting my energy like to the spirit realm and things like that. I find that I'm a lot more aligned now as to off balance. So they're just kind of screaming at you.
Yeah, they tend to do that. Good morning, everyone, by the way. Hello, hello. How is everyone? Did everybody sleep good last night? Nice to see you all. Thank you for joining us this morning. So, yeah, we just it's been a very interesting time recently. This last even the last few weeks, it's almost like things are ramping up for something else now, and I'm like, oh no, like I feel we're it's a little overwhelming energetically. Anybody else feeling that way? There's just so much happening in such a short period of time that we're all
I
kind of feeling
said out loud many times to my clients that it almost feels like Mercury retrograde on Red Bull.
it.
Okay. Like it's just ramped and, whatever you're missing. I mean, we know that anybody who is spiritual and understands about Mercury retrograde, we know when it's coming. You're like, oh, right. It does become less and less chaotic as you are facing the things that are to be brought up. But I find within this last one, the last couple of weeks, um, we're all being pushed in some way of the deepest like things inside, right? Right down into your soul core and bringing it up of the last tethered things that need to be acknowledged, need to be released, need to be, changed and things like that. And, for a long time, again, I mean, we all kind of have the people that we talk to. I was kind of going through my own, then all of a sudden I'm talking to a colleague and now they're going through something. So that was two. Okay. This is all within one day. And I'm like, okay. Then, I'd have another conversation throughout the day and there's three. And I'm like, okay, wait a second. So this is probably about 2 weeks ago. I'm like, something's up. Like, huh? Wait. why are we being pushed so hard here? Like, I mean, we're all being pushed. It's
Thank
almost
you. I
it's
was literally venting about this to these guys yesterday. I'm like, I feel like we're being pushed, push, like
yeah,
constant.
this
And I'm like,
is
back
I
off.
believe
Like, I don't know. I'm slowing
what
down.
what I believe is happening and what I was shown above and what is happening personally with me, as well as those that I see in my circle. This is the final fight in this cocoon.
Good way of
That's what
putting it.
this is. We have, I look at, I'm going to try not to be emotional because I'm probably going to cry later on my own life because I know what I'm doing. Um, when you open spiritually, when you create your awareness, you're going deeper and deeper within yourself. You're unveiling each layer to go more and more. And we always say that the main goal is authenticity, is going into your soul of who you are, who you always have been, right? And I find that we've been struggling, so many of us in that cocoon for so long, decades. And not only just that, but not even just this lifetime. These are past lives all the way. And I often said that this was the life. This is the lifetime. This is the lifetime we chose to come in to finish what we started when we first started, however many lifetimes ago that was. All the lessons to be learned, all the karma to break, everything that we needed into this lifetime, because that to me makes me feel, I got goosebumps like from my head to my toes right now. Makes me feel that we have been in that cocoon and we have had that armor on us. And, in every lifetime. And the biggest part when we say surrender or trust, it's coming into the trust within ourselves and understanding that we are okay. And, it's taking the armor off. And one of the biggest things that happens for empaths, especially empaths, we started with armor very young and didn't even realize it. Either we weren't heard, somebody said something to us that hurt us. Um, so all of a sudden we start putting on this protective gear. And that's the masculine energy. And yes, we're supposed to have the balance between the feminine and the masculine. But many of us have lived in the masculine for a very, very long time of protection. And, when you are standing in front of yourself, ready to say goodbye, the biggest piece is slowly taking that armor off and then saying out loud, thank you. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for letting me go through these situations and being there for me. But I need to take you off because I'm okay. And I don't need that protection anymore from myself and my heart and my soul. And that's a huge deal for so many of us, right? And then stepping into the feminine energy and allowing that to take over for a little while doesn't mean that the masculine energy is going to go away, because the masculine energy is our fight or flight, right? When we're in a tough situation, when we're whatever, that's kind of the energy that comes within us. But the feminine energy of innovation, creativity, self love is what needs to shine within us, because that's what ignites the power and the energy that we send out to everybody, to the collective, to the people beside us, to yourself. And, that means having to face everything. And as much as, for a very long time in my life of doing the shadow work, and we've talked about that, Laura, right? I'm like, holy smokes, this is even harder than that. Like, I thought writing the freaking letter was hard, right? And then, you're trying to deal with this lifetime, and then you're trying to release the karmic ties from any past lives. And then all of a sudden you stand there and you're like, okay, I feel it. It's a little scary, right? But it's about, really, now I understand the leap of faith. And as much as, I share this on my live, share this in my classes, share this everywhere I go, I'm faced with it right now within the past, especially the past couple of weeks. However, last Saturday, when Gemini went into Jupiter, I was told above, because I've gone through my own. Mine, I found out was karma from a past life, because I'm like, I've done all this work, 2 years, everyone. Okay. This is 2 years every single day working on myself. I thought, I don't really know which more there is. And I've never taken the time to do this much inner work in my life. I'm like, how am I not done yet? Right. And that's what we all say. How am I not done yet? Like, how much more is there? Okay. And I'm like, I don't know what more there
Oh,
is.
wait, there's more.
And I kept saying above, I'm like, okay, I can see the finish line, but there's something really holding me back here. Like, this has to run deep because this isn't who I am and I don't understand. And that's when they came up and said it was karma. It was karma from a past life and it was very, very bad. And so I said out loud, I don't want to know what I did. I do not need to know. Tell me, what do I need to do to start breaking this energy? And they're like one step in front of each other, just a little bit, just go. As you're starting to go, it will slowly start dissipating. And I'm like, okay, right. So I went through that. And then I got told, Tia, this needs to be done by Saturday. Oh, does it now?
You got some serious
Okay.
homework to do. Better get on
On
it.
Monday, right? And I'm like, why? They're like, because on Saturday, whatever energy you are going in with is the energy that you will be in for the next 14 years. I'm like, that's it. That's all I needed to hear. I'm like, nope, I'm done. I'm done. And I plowed. I plowed in every direction possible. I've never cried so much in my life. So much crying. And I said, I don't need to know why I'm crying.
Releasing. Releasing.
Just release, right? Whatever's needed, just release. And I mean, this is up until yesterday at 7 o'clock at night is the last tear that I shed, right? And so this has been a journey for me. And it's a journey for so many of you. And, it's not easy. It's no, no.
You're
No.
shedding layers, there's all kinds of things that we bury beneath those layers, and you got to shed them so you can actually step
It's
forward
time for
into your
it's
power.
time
A
for a
lot of that is
rebirth.
all baggage.
It's time for a rebirth. That's what
We
this
don't
is.
realize how much baggage we actually sorry, somebody's telling me my mic is a lot louder here. I'll turn it down. So when it comes to learning what we need to work on, it does come in waves, because there are certain things that we are not ready for yet. And if we try to tackle those things too early, then we feel overwhelmed and we feel like we can't handle the full breadth of what we have to deal with. So it comes in little snippets here and there, so that way we can handle it. And sometimes those things can be really, really big, because, because you're literally dealing with something that you've probably been holding on to for several lifetimes. And
Yeah.
so it is one of the most wonderful things you can do is shadow work, so you can uncover all of those little things about yourself that need healing. And
Yes.
I feel like there's like this numbness that kind of stands in the way sometimes, because this is something that I've been dealing with anyway, that when you're ready to deal with those parts, sometimes it's not as clear as to what you need to work on, because there's so many different things that get in the way of the actual problem. And so it's hidden behind those layers. And so when you start uncovering it, you're like, okay, wait a minute. This is it. This is the thing that I've been kind of dragging with me this whole time, not realizing how heavy it truly is. And you can feel so much lighter once you release it.
The hardest thing is awareness. Once you create awareness and have awareness, you're able to start focusing and tackling it. But when you're sitting back, and trust me, I've gone through this. Okay. This is what I just went through. The word fear. Okay.
Hmm.
Trying to that. All right. Got it. Nope. There's more. Imposter syndrome. Oh, great. Okay. Yep. There's that. Balance. I heard the word balance for like a year and a half. And I'm like, balance. Okay. So I'm thinking it's this. No, it's not Tia. Oh, great. Okay. Is it this? Oh, I'm going to tackle this. Nope. That's not it either. Darn it. Okay. There's got to be something else. Okay. So is it this? No. Okay. Well, I did get that. Is it that? Yes. Ooh. Okay. Well, I just tackled all of those. So, okay. I'm changing. And then, all of a sudden you go in a little bit more, and even the negative stuff that's coming. Okay. I would rather, to be honest with you, I know this sounds crazy. Yeah, I'm going to watch my wordings because I've already gone through the storm. Thank you very much. I'm ready for the rainbow. Before I actually say this out loud. Okay. Deal, deal. Okay. I would rather things be like bam, 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 bam. Okay. Then bam, 3 weeks later, bam. A month and a half later, bam. 2 months later, bam. No, no, no. Just here we go. Okay. Let me lose my mind. Let me go through my emotions of screaming and then let me just get through it. And I find right now that I am getting through this so much quicker than what I used to. Right. It's about acknowledge, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Okay. I'm out. Let's go. Plow. Like I'm like the boxer over here. I'm like, what's in front of me? No, that's gone now. Right. And it, don't laugh. That's how I feel.
I just love the visuals because I can, it's almost like you are kind of chasing your astral self around in circles, chasing your own tail sometimes. So you do have to motivate yourself. You have to kind of be like, get on with it. Chase yourself.
I also am very grateful and blessed to have amazing people in my life because we all made a pact as we watched each other. All there were six of us that I'm like, okay, you know what? We are all here to help each other. So when one is starting, that ego's coming in, that dark side's starting to come in, and you're like, man, I can't face this. I'm like, nobody's giving up. We're either getting a message or you're doing a voicemail or you're doing like a video and someone's reaching back saying, no, hey, listen here. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. We're going to have our pity party. We'll let it out. And then we got to figure out how we're getting past this. Okay. So that's what we all did for 2.5 weeks is we held each other accountable and we all saw each other's vulnerability. We let each other cry. We let each other scream. We let each other rant, and there are so many times when other people can see things that because you're clouded within your own emotions, when other people can see things and they're like, you're not looking at it this way. Let's look at it this way. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, yeah, I didn't see that. No, no, little clouded vision here. Oh, thanks for bringing that up.
Yes.
Maybe I can get through this faster. Right. And it is good to have others of understanding. And I know that many of you people who are watching right now may not necessarily have that, and you will. Trust me, you will. Okay. But that's why there are groups, there are things in which you can write out and
You can
ask
let it
questions,
out.
right?
You got to let
Don't,
it out. That's a big important part of shadow work, which is a part of releasing karma. We were just talking about karma. And one of the main things, for example, like when I was talking with Dolores, a lot of people would say, well, what do I do to release karma? You have to forgive. But at the same time, that is a huge leap from dealing
mhm,
with what you're dealing with to getting to the forgiveness part. Because
yeah,
in the middle of all of that, you have a lot of emotions that you have to purge. You have a lot of things that you need to kind of sort out within yourself. And
mhm,
sometimes just talking those things out. This is why spiritual bypassing is such a problem. Because so many people were like, oh, you've been abused by your parents? Well, you're going to have to forgive them. Forgiveness is the only way. You're going to have to get over it and forgive them. And then people look at you like, well, fuck you. I'm not ready to do that yet. It's because they
mhm,
haven't released the emotions that are trapped within themselves before they can get to the part of forgiveness. Because
yes,
everybody wants you to jump right to the end and say, oh, I forgive them. Because there you go. Once I forgive them, my job is done. Karma's
yeah,
released. Contracts are broken. I'm free.
yeah,
Yes. But at the same time, you don't even have to truly forgive because indifference is also, you just don't care anymore. You say, okay, I've done enough. You don't even have to say, I completely forgive you because you have forgiveness within yourself is the most important thing. But when
mhm,
you completely understand that it happened for a reason, that it was a lesson you were supposed to learn from, and that it was actually a benefit for your learning experience, forgiveness comes automatically
yeah,
because it comes with the understanding that you were better off with the lesson than you were without it. So you have to get to that point, and it's hard to get to that point because there's a lot of fuck yous and a lot of
yep,
like you really want to wring people's necks sometimes because you're like, why would you do this for so long? But
yep,
you can't focus on that because unfortunately those things will also drag you down. You can't. It's like throw a pity party, but don't live in the house.
yep.
So feel it out if you have to. Let your emotions out, but then release it.
Forgiveness part is not for them.
Exactly.
It's for
For
you.
you.
I was the person who so many people think the same way when I was going through my transition of, doing and teaching what I do now. with my shaman. And when it came to forgiveness, I remember sitting there and I was like, you got to freaking be kidding me. What? I'm like, that means I'm going to give them a free pass here. No. And you have to imagine this is a long time ago for me. And I remember him looking at me, my shaman looking at me and saying, okay, I'm going to say something to you. And usually when he says that, I'm like, oh, because he's never wrong, right? So I'm like, oh man, it's about to go deep. Here we go. So I'm like, yeah. And he's like, Tia, how long you've been holding on to it, even though you stuck it in the back of your head. How long have you been holding on to it? I'm like, uh-oh. You realize that by holding on to it, even if it's stuck, they still have energetic power
Bam.
over you. And in
Yep.
that moment, that
Mhm.
defining moment, I looked at him. I'm like, hell no, 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 wait, what? Wait, no. And this is when I was really starting. This is what got me into learning about energy, right? And I'm like, no one's going to ever have power over me. I felt like I lost power in many instances in my life. And as I say out loud, I have gone through every negative thing that you can possibly imagine happening to a person. Okay. And I thought, okay, okay. He said, this is where the quote comes in. I choose to forgive, but I will not forget. But you need to release it. And of course, you know how I deal with shadow work, which is writing the letter and you voicing and saying everything you have ever held on to. Like,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I had more swear words in one letter than there were normal words. Okay. It's all about release. So this was the final step for me. And I just remember saying, I take my power back and cutting that energy cords to it because I went through it. I get it. And you're right. Some of us have gone through some very traumatic and emotional things. I myself. And I always ask the question, why? Why did this happen? Why me? Right? Like my husband used to be like, how does one per like how does one person go through that much? Like seriously. I'm like,
Training.
I'm not entirely sure here. Right. And I even said out loud, man, what did I do in my past life? Because I think I'm uh-oh. like that's how I felt growing up. But it's because in this lifetime, they knew I had the strength. They knew I was the chosen one of the warrior, which many of you are.
Absolutely.
And you have to watch your wording. You can say, please give me strength, or I want to be strong. I want to have strength.
I
Um,
have strength.
if
If you
you
say
say
I want, you're kind of keeping it in perpetual, creation
yes,
state.
and
So
that's not going to be the strength that you originally thought. Because they're like, oh, okay, let's put you into this situation. And now you show us your inner strength, even though you're in it, you're like, this is not what I said out loud. Yes, it is. That's what we heard. Right? So you have to watch it and understand you, all of you watching right now, every single one of you have everything that you need to survive, to flourish, to evolve, to grow, to teach, to mentor, to coach, to live. Every one of you. Don't look outside of yourself anymore. Don't have the validation from others to fulfill a part of you that's missing. Dig deep into what is that part that's missing? Where did it stem from? Going back to the root, acknowledge it and learn to fill yourself up.
yes,
Because once you become whole within yourself, you will create the magic all around you. And that's more rewarding, or I guess the best reward of all the hard work that you put through. is you can stand up and say, I did it. I did it for me. I did it for my children. I did it for my grandchildren. I did it for the next generations. And I did it for this world. And we have to stop thinking that we are not valuable. Every person has a purpose. Every one of you has a purpose. Some of you guys just haven't found it yet. Some of you guys are on the road to finding it. And yeah, sometimes it's going to be a little shocking where you're like, huh? Didn't really think this was going to be it. Right? But don't shy away from anything anymore. The energy is phenomenal above. It is pushing you. And when you're feeling it, do not ignore it. Just this is where turn around on the tide. And we've been walking up against that flippin' tide.
Indeed, we have for a
Turn
long
around.
time. Humanity is it's probably one of the youngest races out there, if you think about it, considering when we were created and how long we've been on this planet. And
Mhm.
we've learned a lot of lessons in a very short period of time. But I think this is one of the reasons why we have so much attention on us right now. They weren't expecting us to evolve as quickly as we have and awaken as quickly as we have. So I feel that wonderful things are coming once we sort out all of our shit and get rid of all of our baggage.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, it's absolutely beautiful to sit back and think, man, I can't wait to see what this turns into. And, there's a reason why there's a ramp up. And I shared this last on your podcast. 1 month, I feel like this is ramped up even more, but technically, from the downloads that I got from, mine from Zazula, was 1 month is equivalent to 1 year. Things were taking too long. It's here's the
I
ramp,
feel that.
right? And so that started about 4 years ago, where it wasn't the 1 month. It was kind of like, 6 months to whatever. And then, yep, now we're moving a little faster. Now we're moving a little faster. And then I think the past year would be more towards that. And then once that solar eclipse went, it's, ha, I feel like it's 1 week. And
Zoom,
you're
zoom,
like,
zoom.
oh, okay. Right? Like time is speeding up for the better good of this planet.
Yeah,
And shift your point of view. Shift it. Yeah.
beautifully said. There is one
Yeah.
thing I wanted to share with you guys. There was something that popped up in mind. It was just a suggestion from one of my soul guides, and it was a closure exercise for people, because your letter idea, by the way, a few people have said how brilliant that was, to write it all down and then even just burn the letter. You don't have to send
Burn
the
it.
letter to the person that you need to write it to. You just write it for your own sake so you can get it out, let it out, give yourself some
You're not
closure.
you're not sending it to anyone.
Yes,
You finish,
exactly. It's
you're
only for
actually
you.
healing it
That's the
for
forgiveness
yourself.
is only for you. So really it doesn't matter what the other person believes or thinks or what the situation is. It's in your own mind how you feel about the situation and what you need to work out in your own mind.
Yes.
So this was something that ironically they told me to do like a year ago, and it took me probably 3-4 months to actually do this exercise, considering I didn't even want to think about the things that I would have to write down,
Hmm.
because just thinking about them can, it's like scratching at the scab when it hasn't fully healed yet. So what they recommended was to write down a list of all the formal things that you would like closure on in your life. So once you've made your list, so you can make a list going back as far back as you need to, whether or not it was your childhood or past relationships or anything, things that you feel that you have not fully healed from. So you
Hmm.
put them on the list and you say, once you've made your list, you say to yourself, and you say it in the mirror too. They said to even give a little wave to yourself in the mirror and acknowledge your presence in the mirror and say, "Hi, it's me, God here. I just need you to know I'm about to have formal closure on all of these things," and then read the list out loud. And then as you read the list out loud, gauge any emotions that you may be feeling rising to the surface or that start coming out of your system. So if you still feel any emotions that are being triggered as you read this list out loud, then you know that that's something that you kind of still need to work on a little bit. But after you have finished, you say to your human nature, I am so full of gratitude and love for all the experiences I've had, but I'm choosing to close this door now. And then you tell yourself what the plan is and how you plan to move forward once this, obviously now that this closure
Yeah,
has been achieved.
that's beautiful. I like that. I do.
Yes.
I
And
I like
Gail's got a wonderful question too. Gail says, what if you forgive and then months later the thoughts rear their ugly heads again? They're testing you to see whether or not you've actually learned what you need to learn from it. So
mhm.
gauge your reaction based on how you reacted last time and how you reacted now, and applaud yourself on being able to handle it better because you've learned something from the last experience until this experience.
Yes. And then there may be um what I'm hearing, a part of that there may be some cord cutting that may be needed here between yourself and whatever this is, because it may go a little bit deeper. So it's cutting the energetic cord that comes with it. When you will know when you are not triggered, as Laura just said. Okay, you'll know that when either that person, you run into them, if you've blocked everything, if you've walked away, you've done whatever it is, and you kind of see them, naturally we have like that stomach drop of, oh, oh, okay, you're not going to have it. You won't have it in any regards. Ringing in your ear, Laura?
Ringing in my right ear just now, very loud, I must say.
Hmm.
Interesting. They're like, "Are you listening?" Doo.
Right? So sometimes we do have to, take things a little bit, I'm not going to say deeper, but adding on some tools that could help you in regards to a different type of release. But I find that, for me, I will know once I'm not triggered. Then I'm like,
Exactly. The triggers are your friend.
oh,
They tell you when you still got something to work on.
I tell everybody else, it's interesting because they're like, talk it out. So I'm hearing my guides, which is quite interesting right now because I think this is like leading me up to like this afternoon, what I'm about to do, because this is probably the biggest thing I've ever done for myself in my career and in my journey. Um, but I don't wish any ill will towards anybody who hurt me in the past. I have grown so much to understand that it was their issues and not mine. Was I a victim in many circumstances? Absolutely. But the strength and the courage that I have created within myself to take and understand, to go from the victim to the survivor mode, because that's who I am. I'm a survivor. And I needed to embrace the emotions and the hurt and the pain that I had felt, to then turn it into a teaching and valuable lessons for other people in this world who are either A, going through it, or B, have gone through it. And the biggest thing for me was stepping out and being on camera and being voiceful and letting go of the shame, because the shame is not me. And so many of you have been holding on to shame and inner guilt. We have all made mistakes. Many of us have been put in situations that we should not have been, but we were. Many of us have made decisions that we thought were right at that exact moment, but when we look back, we're thinking, that wasn't very good, smart choice. But you learned, you grew. But I look back at the old me, the little girl, to the teenager, to in my 20s, to even in my 30s. And only now in my 40s am I ready to stand tall and say, this is me. This is all of me. But I've worked my ass off to get here. And I realized in the last 72 hours, I'm going to get teary eyed here. Sorry. My whole life, I shone away from who I was, from the gifts that I was born with to ones that came, from being called crazy endlessly, that something was wrong with me, to being put into psych wards, to being disowned, to being ridiculed, and fighting through it and running away from it to only have it being brought back. And I stepped into it because that's my soul. And I've had to learn to turn away from those that don't understand me. And for a large majority of my life, I kept being told, you're the voice, you're the voice, you're the voice. And only until 48 hours ago, I went through thinking, what is my voice? Am I the voice for those that passed and crossed over? I thought that was it. I realized, no, it's not. Then I thought when, my new spirit guides came in from other dimensions, that I was channeling them because they told me, you're the voice. And I waited, and it's not there yet, even though I do have things written. So I thought, Then I thought maybe it was my spirit guide, my one, who is very powerful when he was here in the physical realm and a leader. And he said to me, no, it's your voice, yours. It's you standing up for the majority of people on this planet, for what they've done and gone through, and to show them that you can survive and you can be strong and that your voice matters. We're just here to kind of throw you in the right direction. And that's a huge moment for me because even then, without realizing it, I was thinking I was taking on somebody else and not realizing the importance of my own voice, which is now leading me down a completely different road. But I embrace it. Scared a little, for sure. But it's to show you that you can overcome just about anything. All of you who are opening up and these gifts are coming, those that are seeing dead people and orbs and shadow figures and aliens and other species all over. It's a crazy world,
It's all coming forward. Yeah.
right? It's a crazy world. But as much as you may have looked up into that sky and looked at those stars and those other planets and felt like you were supposed to be there and that this isn't your home, this is your home right now. You have a mission on here to bring the intellectual knowledge and revelation that's always been a part of you here on this planet. So, no, I will not keep my mouth closed. I will stand tall. I'm ready to finally fly. And I want all of you guys to do the same. But the biggest part for that is you have to believe in yourself. Ooh, okay. Yeah.
I
I
want to
think
give
that's
you the
all.
biggest hug right now. I'm giving you a giant astral hug.
Ooh,
Love
oh,
you.
good.
You have been so strong for so many people and for so long, and it's not easy to go through these periods of transition where you feel like you're becoming a whole new person because it's almost like you're losing a piece of yourself as you grow.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I think, what I've had to deal with, right? is that identity part. And I figure I'm the person, go big or go home. So, you know, I've always said, join me in my journey and allow me to help you or inspire you or give you the courage to maybe take that extra step or to understand where your heart is. But I'm not hiding. And I'm kind of shaking. You don't see it. My hands are literally like uncontrollably shaking here on my legs. You're just not seeing it. But I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm gonna be just fine.
Yeah, you
My
are.
face like all
You're
over.
gonna be better than fine. You're already amazing. You really are. And I can't wait to see all these new wonderful facets that are being added to your diamond self, Tia.
Thank you. So we won't keep you guys too much longer after my little Hallmark moment. Oh my
She's
gosh,
no, you're not allowed to run now. No, you left your vulnerable side out.
right? We were only supposed to be coming on and talk about the mediumship circle, which, by the way,
Speaking
is
of mediumship circle,
uh,
people are already very excited for the next one.
so this one is just going to be a question and answer going through the last 4 classes that we've gone through, and then I will be starting it over again. I have to look at the summer because things have kind of like ramped and travel and whatever. But yeah, this Sunday will be a question and answer of all the information that we've gone over. And then I will be starting over again at its very beginning. So for those of you who weren't able to catch kind of the replays or, things like that, this is going to be your opportunity to jump on from the first and make your way back up through those classes. And I do want to mention for myself that I will be starting to now pre record some classes to be able to sell off
Awesome.
from me, as well as my major one is going to be the empathic circle. Which is going to be in an hour, which will be an hour class for all empaths. So I can teach you how to protect yourself, ground yourself, understand why you're here on this planet right now, what you can do for yourself as well as for others. That is something very dear to my heart because there are so many empaths that are out there that are struggling, and it hurts my heart to see you struggle because of the energies all around. And so I think for the next little while, my main focus is going to be making sure that, I can get you kind of back onto the straight line and into yourself. So, those are some major things that are coming up for me. I will be launching in September my VIP monthly group. I am so beyond elated for that to relaunch again. That is my heart and my soul. And so that will be because I do like teaching classes. I'm all about coaching and teaching. There's going to be a lot in there that's not found in any other platform. So that's why it's going to be the VIP group with some classes and one on ones and things like that, just so that I can be there for, not just a couple, but now hundreds of thousands. So we're just going to move it up. Whoa!
I'm just trying to find your link for Facebook. It's not coming up, is it? What is your Facebook link? Is it
Crossroads.
Tia Crossroads Medium?
No, it's just Crossroads Medium.
Oh yeah. I don't know why it's not coming
It'll
up.
not be the same after today, but yes, that is it for right now. It will still take you to my page though. But there
There
will
we
be.
go. I don't know why Facebook was being weird just then. Didn't want to put it up. Here's the link for those of you to follow Tia.
Yes, please.
And you'll be on Astara. It'll be this Sunday, yeah?
Yes, this Sunday at 1 p.m.
So for those of you who have
time.
not joined yet, make sure here's the link to do so. Tia will be offering it's on the paid membership. So it's free for those of you who are in the membership. And yeah, we'll be able to there we go. You'll be able to catch the recording as well if you miss it.
Mm-hmm. I will be doing my mediumship and things like that off of like, on my side personally as well for definitely sparked. Um, now that my studio is complete, I'm not up in it right now just because my husband is working nights and it is right beside him. So I'm like, nope, I don't want to wake him up and the dogs start going. But it is now complete. My boutique is now ready to go. I'm about to launch my TV show. I'm ready to create my empire. Today is a new day. Today is a new beginning. Um, and I welcome everybody's energy and
I don't think
whatever.
there's a better time in all the history of humanity to do this. This is the best time we've had so far. You know,
Oh, that's what we're gonna so excited, right?
it is
Then
very exciting,
the
and I
Carroll line.
also you can feel the shift in energy every day, almost like it's like a roller
Yeah.
coaster when you go, going up and up. I'm just waiting for the wee moment.
I said that I didn't want the roller coaster ride that I've been on for a long time. And I'm thinking, why do you guys have to keep adding like the circle on the tracks? Like,
The lip-to-lips are my problem too.
okay.
They kind of
I'm
throw
ready.
you into an existential crisis for a few days. When you
Yeah,
hit one of those loops. I've been hitting one of
myself.
them a couple
Yeah.
times the last few weeks.
And then all of a sudden it starts slowing down. I'm freaking upside down, hanging as all the blood's rushing to my head, thinking, does anybody want to hear the power switch so we can keep going? Please?
Yeah.
Right? And it's just I'm ready to step off of this one and go on one that is a lot more calmer. Um, and that maybe, not teacups, because I'm gonna puke on that. I'll send into a
It was a
and I'm
teacup.
like, oh, no. I think past the age of 17, I couldn't do dizziness anymore. Right? No. But it's a different feeling. It's a completely different feeling. And it's wonderful. And I mean, if any of you guys need any help, if you need guidance, if you need a push, if you know you're stuck, take the investment into yourself right now, okay? Because it'll be the best investment that you ever do. But make sure that you feel drawn to the person. It doesn't have to be me, it doesn't have to be Laura, it doesn't have to be any of us. But go within your intuition of who you're pulled to, because it's your spirit guides who are pushing you to them of what you're supposed to learn or what you're supposed to get out of something. But the investment is you. You. Now's your time. It's you. Yep. Some people are going to call
Stop
you self,
focusing on other people. You got to
right?
focus on because we're
Exactly.
going to need it.
Exactly. So don't say, one day I'm going to do this, which is what I always said. That one day turned into a week, that turns into a month, that turns into 6 months, that turns into a year. And then I'm like, I didn't do it. Right? We always say one day, one day. Shift it before I go and let today be day one. If you didn't accomplish it yesterday, if something came up, the moment you open your eyes is a new day. It's a fresh start.
Exciting things are coming.
Exciting things are coming.
I just
Yes,
keep thinking about what Dolores Cannon said about how we're all holding a golden ticket to be here right now. To not just be here at this time in all of human history, but because you could have chosen any time. Any of you could have chosen to be born 4,000 years ago or 2,000 years in the future from now, but you chose to be born now. And you chose to be awakened at this point now. So, I mean, it's a tall order to fill. It
it
is.
is. This
Yeah,
is probably
just
one
being
of the
here right
hardest.
now, holding that space.
Yeah, this is probably the hardest mission I think any of us human beings are going through in any lifetime. It's this one, right? This is the hard work. This
The
is the emotion.
culmination, I feel like that's what this is. It's all those different lifetimes that we've had here that we've been, transitioning through because each one of those lifetimes taught us important things. And now we're here to use what we've learned through all of those different lifetimes.
Absolutely.
Put it into action.
It's, I just can the spaceship hurry up and land in my backyard? Like, that's what I'm waiting for. I
I
cannot
just
do it.
laugh. Look at my lighter.
Like, anytime now.
Take me with you. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel lately, though. It's like, come on, it's so hard down here. Come down here.
You
But I
know,
just
like I'm
laugh
not
because,
I'm like,
even
I said out
ETs, they
loud,
don't want to come down here. They're like, we'll help you from up here. Y'all are dead.
I
We'll
said out
channel
loud, I was
something
sitting out
before.
there and I was
We
like,
don't want to come down there, but we'll channel. We'll send you some knowledge.
I said, I'll even buy like a huge tent that you can't see in. Okay. And you come down and I'll sneak you in the other side so we can just sit around the table and like talk. Like, if I do that, will you come? Because man, I mean, like I said, two of my guides are from other planets. So I mean, I hear them, but I'm like, I'm not scared. I'm so far past not scared now. Just from who I've met and who's on my spirit team, right? From way back. Definitely have moments of, who's you? Oh, hi. Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm, okay. But I have the mindset of, man, I must look really weird to you. Like, really weird.
It's all a matter
Because,
of perspective.
right?
You
So,
never know.
yeah,
They may like how Earth women look. Some of the
I
Anunnaki sure did.
I'm excited. I love it because disclosure's all there. Things are crumbling. You can see it. It's happening. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, this is beautiful, right? And so have that perspective. Yes. Before I go, okay, there's destruction, but remember, things must come down in order to be rebuilt. Okay. And the destruction is going to be needed in order for us to get past it into what is supposed to come and, emerge
I
from the
pulled the
situation.
tower card twice yesterday. I pulled it. I was like, yeah. Put it back, and then I pulled it again. I was like,
Yeah.
it was in reverse too.
It's
So
all
it was
there.
both times it was the tower in reverse, and literally the message what was exactly what you just said. Thanks,
Yep. I-
universe.
It's interesting because I called this, right? I'm a little off on some things, but other things I'm bang on, right? So I'm like, okay, okay, I see. But I guess it's different because I see more, right? Like I've been shown. So I'm like, oh, yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. It's like I'm on that horse. I'm like, let's freaking go. I'm ready to start galloping, you know? And, it's just, it takes time to get there. So all of you are where you need to be right now. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Don't
Yes.
question. Go within. Trust your intuition. Say thank you when you receive signs and messages.
That's what you
And
need to do. My thing is
open.
like it's like when you're carrying something and then you drop it and you're like, why, universe? Instead of saying why, you're supposed to say, thanks, universe. you know, like,
Mhm. Yeah. Listen,
yeah.
I took a fall. That's how I learned. I took a really bad fall before, right? And I mean really bad. It took me out for 3 days. Um, and I was about an hour away from home. And I mean, yeah, I definitely did damage to my body. So here I am laying on the front lawn of this woman because I'm going to pick up something on Facebook Marketplace, and I have my hands in the cubby, and I don't know what happened. I really even now don't know how I did it, but somehow I missed every single step on that porch. Okay. Like every single one of them. And because my hands are in here, I couldn't even put my hands out. So I'm laying down after I did some ninja move, looking up, saying, okay, universe, what am I supposed to learn from this? Right after it happened. Okay. Like I still haven't even hit the main thing yet. And I'm like, oh, driving home. And I'm like, okay, talk to me. And all I heard was, you done now, Tia? Am I done with what? You done being stubborn?
I was saying a
Uh,
little strop.
on are you're gonna start saying yes to help, right? Because I had an argument with this woman saying, "No, let me take it to the car. No, I got it to the car. No, I can take it to the car. It's okay. I have it. Are you sure? I have it." Okay, there's a Leo side. So all I
I
heard
mean,
now is when anybody asks to help you, what are you gonna say? All we want to hear from your mouth is yes, yes, yes. I'm like, okay. So people are like, "Can we come drop this off?" Yes. Do you need paint stuff? Yes. Do you need someone to talk to? Yes. I was like, I'm just gonna keep saying yes, yes. Uh-huh.
You're a yes man to the universe. Yes, yes, yes.
Right? And then don't be afraid to ask for help. That was my other one. I don't know whether or not that's my personality or my sign as a Leo. Um, but we don't typically do very well at asking for help until we're like fully cornered and like running out of options. But I was told for over a year, you can only get yourself so far and then you are going to need help. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Right. And then I had to. I ended up calling because I knew, remember when I told you I had until that Sunday? I'm like, like, I've only been dealing this for 2.5 years. Like, this is not something I'm going to be able to get through on my own. So I called, and my friend's looking at me, and she's like, "Do you need to say something to you?" Um, good. Um, she's like, "Say it." Mm. What are you doing tomorrow? Nothing. Why? Can you come over and help me, please? Because I don't think I can do this by myself. Like, I really need somebody. Oh my God, I would love to. Blah, blah, blah. Knocked it out in 4.5 hours. I'm like,
You need just a motivator, somebody that
right.
can help you bang it out, somebody
And
to
that's
help you
something
keep
I
your
told
focus. I have a friend like that that comes by to help me with things like that, to motivate me. I call her my motivator because she does. She comes up, I got to work in my garden. I'm like, can you come motivate me? She's like, yeah.
right?
Because it's hard
Or
sometimes to do things on your own. And sometimes it's nice to have somebody with you in solidarity.
but it was me giving it up. It was me saying, I'm in over my head. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know where to start,
Yeah,
but I know I need this done. Please. Right.
that's
And
the
Sam
first
kept
step. Well
watching it
done.
all done and having fun with it. And my daughter was a part of it. And when it was all done, I remember looking around thinking, wow, this is beautiful. Like, this is what I had visioned in my head. I can't believe that 2.5 years have come by of me just not okay. So I said, that's it. I am
Even your
never.
guides won't offer you help unless you ask. So many people are floundering and they feel I'm exactly the same. And I feel like not asking for help is a trauma response too. Because it's like you asked for help and you didn't get it. So you just stopped asking
Yep.
eventually. And you just stopped relying on other people. And you just decided, well, I'm only going to be ever able to rely on myself. So I'll do it myself was always my attitude. And I realized that's why, is because I couldn't count on people when I needed them when I was younger. So I automatically think I can't count on them as an adult either. But you can.
You can. The right ones, you can. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's just, if nothing more ever came into my life in this moment, I'm content,
Beautiful. I
right?
just want to share what Barbara said as well. Barbara Hurd said something beautiful. This was lovely, Barbara. She said, so last night as I was cooking, I was thinking about life and I said to my subconscious, I've reached my breaking point. I began to make cornbread and I cracked these 2 eggs and then I heard, well, now I can use you. You see, an egg cannot be used until it's broken. And I immediately found joy in the breaking. Not everyone will understand this, but to those who do, be encouraged. Yes, you're at your breaking point. Yes, you are broken, but that's okay. You are ready to be used in a nice way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
Yes.
ready
It's
yeah.
beautiful.
Beautifully said, Barbara.
Very well said. Like, very well said.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, sometimes it's just where you're placed. Sometimes your value and your worth is just not in the right place yet.
Yeah.
Where many times we're underworth, right? Like we're under
You're on the
worthy.
road. That's what I keep
You know,
being told. You're on the road. Be patient. You're
exactly. But
getting there. And I'm like, but I want to
um,
get now.
think a bottle of water. How much a bottle of water is in a supermarket? Okay. Same bottle of water in a stadium. One selling for $1, one selling for $8.
Or an
Freaking bottle
airport
of
where
water,
it's like $12 for a big bottle.
right? Same
Yeah.
bottle,
Know your
same
worth.
bottle, but you're put where you're worth more. Okay, it was a little bit of a different analogy. Okay,
I
just
love
take
it.
it.
It's a great analogy though, for real. That's wonderful. And it's true, you people will this is the thing though, is that people will pay whatever price you demand, whatever you set your worth at. So if you have your worth down here, people are going to pay that. If you have
Yeah.
your worth up here, people are going to pay that too.
Yes.
Because
Thanks so much for
eventually
that.
you gotta understand, people do not realize that they are priceless. Every single one of us, God chose to be you. Like you, every single one of us is God. We chose to have that experience as an individual. You designed yourself down to your tiniest pinky nail. That's one of the things that blows my mind. Like, there's people that are like, oh, I don't like this about myself. I don't like that about myself. Like, you literally chose to have every little tiny detail about yourself a certain way. Why you chose that? Who knows? There's obviously a reason.
Yeah. And you have to be in love with who you are now. That's the other thing I'm going through. I'm a plus size girl. I've struggled for a very long time. And, I kept hearing, I'm trying to do the workouts and, the change of diets and, all of this stuff. And I heard, we're going to halt you. I'm like, huh? Why? What? Wait, huh? Wait. I'm like, what? They're like, because you need to do the emotional basis in your mind. Because even if we have you lose weight, you're going to go back to the same mentality of where you are right now. So I'm going to tell all of you guys a challenge right now. It's a 5-day challenge. Doesn't take you that much. I'm about to do it myself. I did the first day. I want to put it online, but I'm like, ooh, gotta watch out where the camera's going. Okay. But okay. You need to stand in front of the mirror for 5 minutes naked, naked. And you need to look at yourself. Really look at yourself. Okay. And I heard this a couple weeks back. I kind of got it, kind of came onto one of my feeds, and I couldn't scroll. So they're like, listen, I'm like, okay. And it happens to be an actress. And she said, you know what? I've struggled. I've struggled with my body weight. I've had 2 children. I had C-section. I got stretch marks. I got all of this. And I'm not a person. I'm not about to go and do surgery. It's not who I am, like many others, but I'm struggling. And it's her therapist who told her to do this. She said, you need to stand in front of the mirror for 5 minutes and stare at yourself. So the first day she's staring, going, huh, okay. Yeah, okay. So there's stretch marks here, and I see my C-section line here, and whatever, whatever. Okay. Second day, she starts looking and she's like, okay, okay. You created 2 human beings here. You birthed them. You birthed them. Yeah. Okay. So the C-section, there's your warrior scar. It's a scar. That's to remember the 2 beautiful beings that you brought into this world. Okay. Day 3, she's like, oh, I kind of like my arms here. Oh, that's kind of nice. Hey, I got a nice tan. Okay. By day 5, now she's looking, saying, I love you. Okay. This is who I am. This is what I'm working with. Love yourself now as you are. Okay. Do I want to be? No. Sorry. Wrong choice of words. I will be
Yes.
smaller in the future, but I also understand why they're doing what they're doing for me, because I shone away from many things because of my weight. Being on camera was definitely one of them, right? Because I got that traumatic experience when I was younger and it stuck. And I realized that I've been covering, and I have a belly and I have a bum. Okay. And I got boobs and I can't hide them. Like it's just impossible. I'm
I'm
thinking
built
of
like a goddess,
I,
What you think
right?
about those
Like,
voluptuous
this is
goddesses
what I'm
back in the
built.
day?
Like all these plus size women trying on clothes. I'm like,
You know
what?
what's funny though, and this is something that I actually got from the soul guides themselves. They said that excess weight works as an energy barrier where you block negative energy. So this is one of the reasons why so many empaths and mediums are actually overweight. It's not even about the lack; they're using it as kind of a shield.
Yeah. For
And I
me,
learned
it's
that I was like, damn.
healthy. I actually heard that I think like 2 days ago. I don't know who was talking about it. And he said, if I walked into a room, a psychic fair, I would look around for the big girl. That's who I would go to. That's I know she's real, right? I'm like,
She's gonna know
oh,
her shit. Yeah.
I'm like, is he talking to me? Hi. Hey, but be in love with yourself now, not woulda, coulda, or what shall come right now. So I appreciate everybody taking the time out of their day and joining us here on this podcast. It's always
Everybody
nice.
go strip naked and embrace your goddessness in the mirrors now.
Pretty much. It's gonna be interesting.
Including the men, do hero pose and all that.
You know, yeah, I'm willing. That's the thing. I'm willing to try things. I'm willing to try things. If I feel like it can
Healthy is
better
what
my
it needs
health
to be.
for
You
my
just don't even focus on the I have to be a certain weight for this sort of thing. We all have different body types. Just be healthy, and do what you can. I've quit sugar and all kinds of stuff. This morning I'm drinking carrot juice, which really just tastes like sweet dirt, really. It's it's the best tasting thing. We are all a work in progress, I'm
oh, I
it
can't.
does. It
Oh,
tastes like sweet dirt, really, but I'm getting used to it. But we got to do what we got to do.
sure do.
I've been drinking spinach
That's-
milk, or what do you
oh,
call it, spinach smoothies in the morning. So, I mean, stuff like that. I'm like, this is, we
oh
are
man.
all doing with our best.
Yes.
What we can.
Oh, my eyes still twitching. I can't. Oh, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I need the lemon. Oh,
I'm taking all my tea has now been switched to decaf as well. Like I'm going through it. Let me tell you,
the sugars. It seems like my
sugar is the
teeth
hardest part.
so much that I'm eating things that I've eaten before, and the only thing I can taste is like the sugar, and I'm like, oh.
What's funny is I quit sugar and now kombucha tastes really sweet to me. It tasted like it didn't have any sugar in it before, but then you quit sugar for 2 weeks, and then you drink the kombucha, and it's like, wow, this is the sweetest thing in my fridge right now.
Yeah, I've been off sugar, like coffee wise, for over a year now. So my first one, I'll put like a little bit of like your creamer or whatever, and then after that, it's black, right? Like it's black. Even though every single time I'm drinking it, even after a year, I'm like, so good.
Uh-huh.
Right? I'm still doing it because I'm like, nope.
But you got to realize that food is one of the ways that they are keeping us down here. Like, for example, Laura Pavanelli had a great post about grounding. And if you're not grounded, one of the first things you do is go for the heavy foods because you're not grounded and you want something to weigh yourself down. So the first thing you do is you go and eat a big old plate of soul food or something that you feel like when you're done.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'm certainly grounded now.
Grounded because now I need to sleep. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But one of the things that even my own soul guides, they didn't even have to tell me, but I've been getting so many activations recently. And one of the first things I felt I needed with these activations was fruit. I've just been craving fruit like crazy.
Okay.
That's so good. It's like you got to listen to your body and just go with whatever it feels it needs. But you also have to listen to reason and be like, body, you don't need that chocolate right now. You need magnesium. You don't need chocolate. You need magnesium. So, it's a whole new relationship with your body once you start listening to all the little things and start trying to give it what it thinks it wants and needs.
Yeah. Fun times. Love it. Love it.
But it is exciting to see how things are going to evolve because I imagine, it's funny. One of the things about this planet is about the food, actually. If you think about it, it's one of the reasons why so many people like being here. For example, the Pleiadians, they don't even eat food the way we do. They eat supplements. They just have everything they need in a little shooter, And I couldn't help but think, where's the fun in that? They don't cook meals. They just take what they need in a little. And I just thought, no, maybe my chef in me, but I'm like, no, that's terrible.
I just want where you go like this and it's done. Because you know what? Come
That
up
was an I Dream of Jeannie thing. You're showing your age there. I saw that. I mean, just blink it.
like, can there not be like a button and you just blink like the freaking Jetsons or push something and it comes out? Here you go. Because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, as like a parent or a wife or a partner or a man, whoever's doing the freaking cooking, every
This is
day
my
trying to come up with dinner is just really hard, people.
my problem is I was
You
a chef, so
me out
anything I
my
want, I can make. If I have a craving for anything, I can just make it like that within an hour. And that's my problem. Is that I'm like, I'm craving this. I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna make this. I want lasagna. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like I can bang it out whatever I want, really. And that's part of my problem is that my cravings have more control than I do. I'm just kind of at the whim of my cravings until recently. That's why I'm trying to behave myself with stuff. It's not easy though, especially after years and years of conditioning with food and the way things are going with society. Everything is all rush, rush, you know.
Yeah. Well, let's leave it there. It's been
Always a pleasure hanging out with you, Tia. Always a fun conversation.
absolutely. I
And who
really
knows
appreciate
how things are going to be? I mean, next time when we see each other in a couple of weeks, it's going to be like a year's worth of stuff has happened again. So who
it.
knows how things are going to evolve?
In
You're having
there.
your big podcast today on your own page. What time is that going to be?
I don't know when I have the strength to do it.
So make sure that you guys follow Tia. I'm gonna share her link one more time for those of you who are gonna whenever Tia is ready. She's gonna have a big podcast today to talk about some more of this transition period. So make sure that you guys don't miss it. Love you, Tia. And I love all of you. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure. We've been talking for 111. It's perfect.
I know. That's why I was trying to get off.
Okay. Love you guys.
Later. Bye bye.